Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. Fight Week, BKFC 76, the debut in Texas. Going to be a Texas-sized event. And of course, there has to be some interesting aspects to the card, including the debut of a well-known bull rider jumping in to bare knuckle. Cameron Delano, thank you for the time, sir. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Doing good. Ready to go, baby.
You're used to contact, you're used to adrenaline sports. How does a fight week compare, though, to knowing a rodeo is ahead of you in a couple days?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely noticed like a change in my whole demeanor the last couple of days. And I think it's more that mental aspect. Like I know you're about to get into a fist fight, you know? You're about to get in a cage and go to war with someone that's trying to hurt you. And so with riding a bull, it's been one of them things I've done for a long time. So it's kind of just another day in the office. This is my first time in the cage or the ring with BKFC. So it's definitely, I got to get them nerves, get those out, and I think we'll be good to go. I think once I get hit in the face, I'm gonna realize like, okay, here we go.
Know you from the PBR, started hearing your name recently, throwing your ring into the hat for bare knuckle. You were targeting Bryce Hall. And I think that brings to this question to everybody. Where did the idea, the thought process of getting off the bull and getting in a ring come from?
Well, I got injured last year in Ohio when I was riding the bull, and I went ahead and finished the season out. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this year off. And it took me about a month, and I couldn't stay away from the combat. So it was one of them things for me. I was gonna go ahead and take a break for the year, and then I got into a podcast about my bull riding story, and then they talked me into doing a bare knuckle fight. So I was like, you know what? Let's get right back into action. And then of course Bryce Hall, he's got a huge following. I got a pretty decent size following, so I was like, let's do it. Like that'll be the perfect matchup. He's not very experienced. I'm not very experienced. It'll be a brawl, and we got nothing back from him for a long time. And then recently, we finally got a response.
Was BKFC something that interests you, something that you were watching before the podcast, before they brought it up to you?
It wasn't something that I was watching all the time, but I did watch it when I saw it, like on my videos. I wasn't following it too much at the time, but once I got into it and I started watching the videos, I was like, this is my type of sport. Like, I love adrenaline, I love violence, I love anything that's going to challenge me. And at the end of the day, there's nothing I feel like that's going to compare to this as being able to prove to the man that you're fighting like you're bigger than he is.
From the research that I did, I think I saw that even before the bull riding, football was the first love.
Yeah, yeah. So I played football 16 years. 16 years, and then I got hurt, and then gave it up for a little bit. I went and started coaching a high school team, and then I got back into football because one of the coaches was a semi-pro football player, and so I got on with him, and then I ended up doing a little traveling, going to Costa Rica and a couple other little places for USA International, and yeah, I did semi-pro for a little bit, and I enjoyed it, but I think football is one of them things. Like I realized when I would play a game, it'd take me 2 weeks to recover. I was like, my age, I'm getting a little old. I think I'm gonna hang that up before I get any knee injuries.
How did you find yourself going from the gridiron to the bull? How did you get to the PBR? Was that something you grew up around, or how did you get there?
Well, I've always been kind of in that industry because of my aunt and uncle. They own a rodeo association. My whole family's been big into rodeos, my entire life. So I've always been around it, but I focused more on football as an early age because that was what I was really good at. And then when I got my neck injury, I got more back into the rodeo scene and it kind of just went from there. It's one of them things like, thankfully, I'm blessed to be really good when it comes to any type of sports. So it's like anytime I get into something, I get so obsessed with it that I have to conquer it. I have to figure out how to be the best at it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what happened with the bull riding. And then, the bulls kept beating me up in the last year. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. And then the BKFC came along for this promotion. And I was like, let's do it. Let's see how I compare to some of these guys.
How is that obsession then, that deep diving into what you're doing, transitioning into the preparation for the fight this weekend?
Yeah, so before this, I knew fighters went through a tough process, of course, like when they have to cut weight, when they have to train and all that, but it's definitely a different mental mindset. I've realized that in the last 7 weeks that I've been in this camp that you know, you pretty much fail every single day. It's not something you're gonna really succeed at every single day. Like when you go to that gym, you're getting pushed to your limits where you are supposed to fail. And that's one thing I hate doing is failing. And I think that's been my biggest mental aspect of it is I have to understand that that's the reason I go to the gym and train is to fail because I'm being pushed that hard. So yeah, I mean, it's been a mental mind game, but I'm no rookie when it comes to the mental mind game. So yeah, I feel like we've done a pretty good in 7 weeks. I feel like we've came a long ways in 7 weeks and ready to put on a show.
Bare knuckle is something different. Bull riding's definitely something different. How was it adjusting going from 3 hours of a football game to the adrenaline spike of what, 7 to 9 seconds of a bull ride?
Yeah, so the thing about riding bulls is like even if you ride that bull 3 seconds and get bucked off, you are so sore the next day. It feels like you got in a car wreck. And so it compares to that 3 hour football game in just 3 seconds. Every muscle in your body will tense up, but it's definitely a different, man. With the football, you got several different time aspects to be able to correct your mistakes. With bull riding, you get one chance, and it happens so quick. It's like you don't get to, correct your mistake until the next bull you get on. So there's a lot of practice that goes involved with every sport, of course. Practice makes perfect. But at the end of the day, I truly feel like, you know, all this training, everything I've been pouring into this is it goes hand in hand with all the other sports that I've done. So at the end of the day, I feel like, let's just go put on the show and see what we can do.
One last thing on the bull riding. Have you
Yeah.
had a favorite bull or a favorite ride?
Not really, man. I look at all bulls the same. I mean, you will have a lot of riders talk about they got a favorite bull they like to get on, whether it's so they can ride it or because it's crazy and they can't ride it. With me, I look at every bull the same, and that is that bull. That bull's my bitch. At the end of the day, it's like I'm going to be top dog against that bull, and that's really where I don't really try to do the whole favorite or ask for a certain draw. Just give me whatever you're going to give me. Let me ride it. If it bucks me off, it bucks me off. If I ride it, I ride it. So I really don't have a favorite bull. Don't really have any type of favorites when it comes to that.
Is there a certain kind of mindset that is similar from the bull riding to taking over to thinking about how you have to approach a bare knuckle fight?
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, when you get on a bull, it's 2,000 pounds, and it's gonna outstrength you. It's gonna try to outsmart you. These bulls are athletes. They're not just an animal. They know that's their job. The ones at the professional level know what to do, know how to get you off. And it's really just using strategy. It's the same thing in this whole fighting aspect. You can't just come in there with power. You can't just come in there with cardio. It's a boxing. It's a strategy, and you got to learn how to move. You got to learn how to box, how to pace yourself. So it's very similar in mindset, but at the end of the day, you still got to think like I'm better than you. You're not gonna make me fail. And I feel like with me having kind of that mindset is going to help me a lot. Now, my opponent is not going to be no easy walk down. He's a Native American that lives on the reservation in Billings, Montana. So he's a Native American heritage. It's in their blood not to quit, but it's also in my blood not to quit. So it's either going to be a war or one of us is going to get knocked out.
Bringing up Jesse Desrosier, he has
Yeah.
some MMA experience as an
Yeah.
amateur. How do you get comfortable enough in the training camp that you've had to go in there against a guy that at least has had some sanctioned fights before?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I thought I was, of course, let's just say when I first started doing this, I thought I was a whole lot better than what I really was. You get in there with the ring with some guys and you're like, okay, now I see why y'all are professionals or why y'all do this for a living. I definitely got my butt kicked a number of times in this camp, but I've also have grown so much where I am boxing professional boxers and he's an amateur. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of amateurs that are just as good as professionals, but I've been training at places like American Top Team, Team Lima in Atlanta, Georgia, and a couple other places where these are actual very good fighters. And I'm going hand in hand with a lot of these fighters. I'm beating some, I'm losing some. So at the end of the day, I feel like I have fought good enough quality people to go toe to toe with this guy. I sparred like four guys there. One of them was the coach, and he also fights in MMA, I don't know, I think UFC or something. But he's like, I don't know, his record's like 14-8 or something. But we went toe to toe. We did good. Then a couple other guys, I'm not sure who they are.
How has that evolution been then in this short amount of time, going from walking in there, getting the reality check, and now being able to stand in there? What has this process been like in these couple months?
Well, it's definitely been stressful, man. I've had to really push myself. The cardio from bull riding to this is two different things. Like, you get on the bull, like you said, 7 to 9 seconds. When you're in here sparring 10 5-minute rounds or whatever it may be, it's very exhausting. Your body just wants to shut down because it's not used to it. So that's been my biggest thing so far is my cardio. But it's came so far in 7 weeks that I think I've shocked a lot of people. I remember I used to be doing jump rope and I'll be out of breath after the first jump rope. And now, I'm sparring all 5 6 rounds and I'm doing good. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like this has helped me in conditioning a whole lot more than what I was used to, but it's all a transition. And I think just as time goes on, I'm gonna get better.
We have a bull rider who's transitioning over to bare knuckle boxing in Texas, taking on a Native American who lives on the reservation, who does videos about his cultural language and heritage
Yeah.
online. You've been in these big stages, these big arenas. Do you think that's going to help prepare you for what the crowd, what the explosion's going to be like coming out there? Because I could figure the build up to the fight, that extraness with the fight, there's going to be a rowdiness in that building.
Oh yeah. So I'll be the first to say I'm a huge shit talker. I love to talk. I love to get in people's heads. Now whether it works with him, it does or it doesn't, but it helps me develop my character as well. At the end of the day, I'm no rookie to the bright lights, the big stages. So I do feel like that's going to give me a certain calmness that I've been on these big stages before. I've rode bulls in front of 20,000 people. So, I think they're expecting what, like 10 to 15,000 at this arena. So yeah, I mean, I'm not no rookie to that, and I don't know if he's been on these big platforms or not. It might be something new to him, but I do feel like that's going to help me keep calm in a lot of situations. At the end of the day, we both know the key to fighting is just staying calm. So that's what I need to do, whether I'm in the ring, stay calm and just, you know, focus on the training that I've done this 7 weeks, which has been a lot. We had to cram a lot in 7 weeks. And I'm still learning. I still fail on a lot of different things. I do good on a lot of different things. But like I said, as time goes on, I feel like I'm only going to grow.
Has there been a preparation to prepare for this to feel foreign? So you've been through the sparring, you've been in big crowds, but that there's got to be a preparation for this to just feel completely opposite of any of that lead up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's something I've never done before. So it's definitely the conditioning. I got certain things this week. Like today, I'm only drinking at certain times, eating at certain times, conditioning at certain times. And then I'm done really good on my weight. You got to think I was 201 pounds 7 weeks ago, and I was just a bulky 201 pounds. and I'm weighing at 179 this morning, only 4 pounds from a cut weight, which is tremendously good, which I'm happy about. Because that means the night before I'm only going to have to cut 3 to 4 pounds, which will be pretty easy on my body instead of having to cut 10, 15 pounds. Yeah, so I think pretty much is just staying on diet. The whole no sodium thing. Oh, that's rough. I ain't gonna lie. Just because I love my food, and then also, just the way it makes you feel. It does make you feel depleted. It does make you yeah, like mentally, want to give up more. But I think we'll be okay after we weigh in, we reload, we'll be ready to go.
And what are the expectations then that you take in the Saturday night?
Three 2-minute rounds, man. They're only doing three 2-minute rounds, so I feel like obviously we're going to try to get a knockout. I have the knockout power in both hands. And my cardio is good enough for that because like I said, we've been doing conditioning like 10 5-minute rounds. So it's very, I feel like cardio is not going to be a problem. I got knockout power in both hands. We're hoping for a first round knockout. So that way I can watch the show afterwards and not have to get stitched up. But, I'm prepared for whatever. If it's a knockout, that'd be great. If it's a war, it's a war. We'll see who's the best man at the end of the fight.
Earlier on, you mentioned that there was a response from Bryce Hall. Does
Yeah.
this debut mean it's a one and done? Is there already a thought process towards a second fight, towards that Bryce Hall fight? Like, what is the expectations after Saturday?
Yeah, so when I first started this, when we first started talking about it about 4 months ago, back in January or February, it was like I'm just going to try it out, see how I like it, see how I compare in it. But as I've went on, I see how much I've progressed, and it's definitely one of them things. It's like, nah, this ain't a one and done now. Like I'm gonna go out there, we're pretty confident we're going to get the win. Even if I don't, but we'll get back in the gym and train some more. But first thing I'm doing when I win is calling out Bryce Hall, and we're going to make that the next matchup.
Are you surprised that getting into training, that it's connected to you, that you've taken a liking to in the way that you have?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Like I said, I get obsessed with certain things. When I take it and then I realize, like, okay, I'm actually pretty good at this, I get kind of obsessed with it. I mean, I did dirt bike racing too. I did a couple of pro races, and it's one of them things like I just get when I get onto something, I try to perfect the craft. And if I can, I get very frustrated and I'll pour countless hours and whatever it takes to be able to get there. And I have had several coaches, not just my coaches, but other professional fighters ask me how many years have I been fighting or how many pro fights have I had. And I'm like, hey man, I'm 7 weeks in on this. Like, and they're like, Dad gum. Like I got a lot of people tell me I'm the top 1% when it comes to fighters, and they feel like I could go a long ways in this. So we're gonna go out Saturday night, put on a show, and try to make that a fact.
Last thing I got, I've seen that there's been quite a few of bare knuckle boxers that you've been sharing this training experience with, getting coaching from. What's the best bit of advice that you can point to that they've given?
Stay calm. Stay calm. And remember what we taught you. Your cardio is everything in a situation like this. Don't exert all your energy right off the bat. Um, And you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get touched up, and it's all about how much you can take the pain and push forward and just keep going. The good thing is I've been hit by some big old guys and some tough guys, and I take it and come right back and I bounce back like there's no issue. I've never been knocked out in my life, not on a bull, not on anything, and I feel like that helps a lot because the majority of bull riders have been knocked out. I've had a bull hit me so hard it bit a titanium face mask and fractured my jaw, and I was just fine. I had a bull split my head open with a helmet on. I had a helmet on. He split my head open 4 inches. So I definitely feel like knocking me out is not going to be an option, and I'm not going to allow it because I'm going to come in there and we're going to throw hard. So, yeah.
You sound excited, sir.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Keep up the energy with our friends at W, everybody. It's 10% off with the checkout code Cage Minds. You can get our merchandise and help support what we're doing here on the website at ziashirts.com and get the hair done at Barber Gabe's Fades here at Lobo Plaza in Albuquerque, New Mexico. BKFC app and DAZN for BKFC 76. It's the debut in Texas. Fort Worth, if you can be there locally. Cameron Delano, it was a pleasure getting to talk to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.